This is our gym music now.
It sounds pretty loud to me.
Because the speaker's down.
I feel like I'm gonna do something dangerous.
Probably. You're standing on boxes already.
Oh!
Innovative creativity.
Whatever. Fuck it.
Top of the hump day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Weighing in this morning at 187 pounds. Not too much heavier than what I was a couple of months ago at my powerlifting meet because I've stuck to my goal of only adding lean body mass like I said I would. I told you guys I wanted to add a lot of muscle this year, but not add a ton of fat, not get super fluffy like I did last offseason. So I've stuck to that, and I think it's starting to show. I'm very happy with my progress so far. My calories have ranged between a low of 2,400 calories a day to a high of 3,000 calories a day, depending on what day it is. Now, for me, that puts me in a surplus, actually. I know it's a deficit for a lot of you guys, but just the way my body has adapted to the caloric intake, that's been allowing me to put on size, gain weight, but very gradually without adding the extra fat. Soon enough, I will have to adjust it and probably up it a tad once my body adapts to it, but the goal is to not go beyond this level of body fat here. This is probably the 12 to 13% range, and it feels good, guys. So powerlifting is still my number one focal point. I plan to do some meets this year. I can't wait. I want to be the strongest powerlifter on YouTube. That's natural, and in my weight class. But on top of that, I'm excited about bringing bodybuilding back into my life again. So I've been doing a lot of bodybuilding style training after my strength training, and it's been going well. I'm even tanning again here, as you can see, in preparation to look presentable for the LA Fit Expo. So I'm visiting my parents' house, and they got a new Rottweiler, because RIP Moose. We got a little rescue Roddy. Her name's Lucy. Yeah, you're cute, aren't you? And cool thing is she's 1 year old. She's a rescue Rottweiler. Beautifully behaved. She's never been fed table scraps in her life. So I'm eating this yogurt, and you can see like she's not even obsessing over me right now. She doesn't understand like the whole idea of human food, so she doesn't even know to beg. It's awesome. She's so cute. Yeah, cute, aren't you? Wicked smart. She also figured out how to unlock her crate with her nose. Rottweilers are a really smart breed in general, but this one's really smart. She's a little troublemaker. But she's so adorable. Here's a little blast from the past for you guys. The downstairs gym. New crazy cat poster. Wish that was actually there when I was training. I don't like cats at all, but like just that photo's awesome. It'd be like one of those lucky photos you have to pat every time before you start working out, like football teams do. Look at this mess of stuff. Storage. The old home gym. This old ass barbell. The old setup still here. The only one who uses this anymore is my dad periodically. I remember I put this up when I first started training. Put this up because I was too like homophobic to put up pictures of bodybuilders. Because when you first start, you know, it's awkward to have photos of bodybuilders. Because your friends, when you're like 14, are like, what are you, gay? Haha. So I just put that up. Then eventually I was like, screw it. Put up my boy Ronnie Coleman. Dennis James, he was the first bodybuilder I ever saw. Ever on Google Images. Ronnie Coleman, the king, best bodybuilder in the entire world. And I say that even over Arnold Schwarzenegger, who would be the second best. Now, I love Arnold, man. He had a beautiful physique. I still just think Ronnie's just more impressive. He's just more wow. There's more wow factor to Ronnie. Arnold had amazing like aesthetics, though. Lou Ferrigno, who's a gigantic douchebag in real life. You should see how he is to his fans. Just YouTube it. Google it. Google Lou Ferrigno asshole. Like, those keywords will probably bring you enough links of fans describing their experiences with Lou, or even videos. He's just an asshole to fans. Charges for he charges like $20 just like to take a photo of him with your iPhone. He like blows fans off, doesn't look them in the eye. He's rude to kids, dude. Total asshole. And Marcus ruled because he was just a huge monster. Mel homemade curl rack, and of course, the best posing light known to mankind. Look at that. Oh man, that was the best posing light ever. So it's my little blast from the past. The old home gym. So let's see if I can remember this in order now. This was my first show, 2006 Gate City Championships. At 15 years old, I got second place in the teens and best posing award. After that, in 2006, I did my first and only NPC show, which is these guys, and I got first in the teens division,
second in the lightweight open men's division. I was at 16 years old. Then I took a year off, and then I came back in 2009 at 17 years old. Or I guess I didn't take a year off then. I don't remember. And did the Spirit of America. This was one of my favorite shows. I won first place in the teens division, and I got the 5th place in the men's division, or is that 4th place? And then I did the OCB Rhode Island show, which is one of my favorite trophies. It was a local size show. The Spirit of America was regional, so it was smaller, but it was representing my state, Rhode Island, and then the trophy was huge. And I remember I had always wanted a big trophy like this, like growing up. So I was so ecstatic when I got first place there with this big trophy. And then I got 5th place in the men's division there. And that was kind of funny because the placing got all messed up. First they called me out for 3rd place, and then like they switched all the orders around. It was really weird. But either way, that was an awesome show. And then I turned 18, graduated high school, and then I jumped into the Monster Mash, the IBF Monster Mash, a big regional show. And I got 1st place in the teens division. It was like my 4th win, I believe. And then 5th place in the men's division, 4th or 5th place. You can't see it. And that's when I first became sponsored by RTN back in the day and did my first paid photo shoot. So that's when everything started kicking off. That's also when I started the YouTube channel. From there, I went to the Teen Mr. Olympia, a show I've been dying to do all my life, a huge goal of mine. And I got runner-up, the big 2nd place. And this was a big international show. There was a bunch of countries there. Now, I never complain about placing because I think that's just crappy to do as a competitor. But this was the one and only show where I really, really disagreed with getting 2nd place. And all of you did too. That's why I feel comfortable saying it. Posted a photo of the outcome. 300 comments all questioning why I got 2nd instead of 1st. The kid who won 1st was an amazing bodybuilder. Awesome. And I've seen him in condition. And when he comes in conditioned, he destroyed me. Wiped the stage clean. But for this particular show, he was literally in off-season conditioning. But he was also that federation's golden boy. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I'm not making accusations here. I'm just saying he was in off-season conditioning. And this was a very debatable placing here. But I was a little sad about that because I really wanted that natural Team Mr. Olympia title to end my teen career, but whatever, not a big deal at the end of the day. 2nd place internationally for Team Mr. O was pretty cool. And then after that, 2012, when I just turned 21, I did the men's open division in the Muscle Beach competition out in California, and that is not a drug-tested show, and I got 3rd place there. Was not happy with the package I brought into that one. That was the only show I wasn't happy with my overall package. Conditioning and all that, but it was still a really fun experience. And then after that, during that prep, I realized that I wasn't really into bodybuilding anymore. My head wasn't in it, and that's why I even allowed personal things to get into my head while I was in prep, because usually I don't care. Personal things happen, I brush them off because I'm so obsessed with the prep and the bodybuilding show. Then I kind of realized I was a little burnt out from bodybuilding, so I spent like the next year or two moving, just training, maintaining, and then all my life I'd wanted to do powerlifting since I was a teen. I had been talking about wanting to do it, and people told me I'd be decent at it. Just was always afraid to do it because it was so different. It was out of my element. And then finally, obviously, I saw Johnny Candido, who was relatable because he was a kid, my general frame, squatting crazy weight. And I was like, oh, wow, that looks really fun. I want to learn how to do that. So, which is kind of funny because right before I started powerlifting, I was even saying to Ariana, I want something different than bodybuilding. I want something with more athleticism. I miss the athleticism aspect that bodybuilding lacks. And then, I discovered powerlifting, and that was pretty cool. So now I'm excited to kind of bring both of them back into it, though. I do miss the days of building the physique, so I'm excited to keep doing that. And obviously, I love the athleticism of powerlifting, building strength, becoming the strongest breed of humans, all that fun stuff. So it's a little blast from my past. Walking out of the family's house. There's a little picture of me right there. I think I was like 17 in that photo. 145 pounds.
So, gym time. This is what my training is looking like now that I'm throwing bodybuilding back into the mix on top of powerlifting. Now, I know there are some powerlifters that get mad when any other powerlifter focuses on their physique at all. They're like, this is not bodybuilding. Don't worry about blah, 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 blah. And they think that a powerlifter is hindering themselves and their potential for strength if they simply stay physique conscious. And I call absolute bullshit on that. If you are dieting down, you're putting yourself in a deficit to try and stay shredded, yeah, that's going to put you backwards if you're trying to powerlift at the same time. However, it is totally reasonable to optimize your strength and power and just Be physique conscious. Maintain a decent physique. You throw in light hypertrophy movements after your strength training is over with, light enough to where they don't stress out your central nervous system and affect your strength training. And then you just make sure your diet is well-rounded enough to where you're not putting on extra pointless fat. Now, obviously, the heavier you get, the heavier your lifts tend to get. But that stops after a point. Even Scott Mendelson said there was a point where he just got too fat and it wasn't helping his bench anymore. It was just making him uncomfortable. And I've noticed the same thing. After about 190 pounds, yeah, my bench gets a nice boost, but then everything else feels uncomfortable. So you can maintain pretty nicely, add the strength gradually, and continue power training. Anyway, back to the training. I had to work up to a heavy triple of pause reps, 3 pause reps with a close grip. Now, as you saw, my last set was with 315 pounds, which ended up being a little bit out of my league, a little too heavy. From there, I was supposed to calculate out 80% of that and drop down to 80% and do that for 3 sets of 5 reps, paused. Well, 315 was obviously too heavy, so I didn't want to do 80% of 315 because I figured that would also be too heavy. So instead, I calculated out 80% of about 305 pounds, which I predicted would have been my more comfortable weight for a set of 3 paused close grip. And I ended up being correct. 80% of 305 pounds is only 245 pounds, and I was able to complete all 3 sets of 5 reps paused with 245 pounds in the close grip. And that is how we wrapped up our close grip bench press and smashing those triceps on our max effort bench day. So after triceps are fried, I then had to move on to regular competition bench pressing, using 75% of my pause bench, which is 340 pounds. So 255 pounds was on the bar today. I had to do 10 sets of 3 reps paused. This first set is with my widest grip. The second set is with a slightly narrower grip than what I was just doing, but still wider than my regular grip. You guys recall my New Year's Eve bench pressing video? I said that I was in love with the wider grip. I felt stronger in it. But I'm trying to figure out just exactly where that strength point is. And this last set here is done with my regular grip that I've been using for the last several years. And as you can see, I think the middle set moved the fastest. If it's not obvious on camera, it definitely felt the most powerful. So here's where that last set just was. That's where my grip has been this whole time, just a centimeter inside of the rings. My super wide grip that I did for that first set was ring finger, pinky finger over the ring. And then that middle set that felt the absolute best was pinky finger just inside of the ring. And that felt the absolute best. So not super wide, but still wider than my usual grip. Feels perfect.
Start. Press. Start. Press. Last one. Start. Press.
So now onto the bodybuilding aspect of it, which is still partly strength training. So we have 225 pounds in the bar, and we did 4 sets of bent barbell rows. 15 reps per set was the goal. I filmed only the very last set here, and I may have gotten 12 on it. I can't remember, but as long as it was over 12, I'm happy with it. My tempo isn't super slow, no, and I could probably slow it down a little bit looking at this video because it always feels slower than it actually is. But I did keep my lats very well contracted the entire time and contracted them on the way down too, so believe me, my lats are on fire from all of that. I then, of course, have been nailing shoulders twice a week now because I'm tired of not having any shoulders. Actually got a compliment on my shoulders for the first time the other day. In person, it was awesome. Somebody said I had good shoulders. They assumed I had them good naturally. I was like, wow. But they're starting to fill out a little bit. Those of you who have met me know I tend to look a little bit bigger and better in person, I guess. I mean, that's cool, whatever. So 4 sets of 12 on the lateral raises, usually starting with 20-pound dumbbells, moving up to 30-pound dumbbells. Nothing crazy. I did 4 sets of 15 reps with tricep cable push downs, and then moved on to rear delts. And I'll alternate. One day I'll do face pulls, and the next day I'll do this rear delt machine on the pec fly machine. I love it. I don't use a super heavy amount of weight, 100, 120 pounds at most, and I usually do sets of 10 to 12 reps, 4 sets, and I get a really good squeeze at the top. Don't ever let the stack touch the bottom, and it keeps constant tension on the muscle. I'm going to blow these delts out of the water, I'm telling you. The way I set up the camera here, if I stood behind the curl rack, there is actually a curl rack in the gym, no lie. So if you guys want to get revenge, you can squat in someone's curl rack. So I had to pick the weight up, turn it around so I was in the camera, all that fun stuff. It's hard being a diva at the gym, know what I'm saying? So I finished this workout off with just 3 sets of heavy curls, man. I don't even know how many reps I got, maybe sets of 8 or something like that. Just going heavy on curls is what gave me big biceps, so I just continue to do that once in a while. Blasted them. And this is the first out of 2 upper body hypertrophy days, and that is a wrap.